Hey everybody, Small Town Underground here, and I'd like for you to check out libertylaughs.net. This is a website that supports grassroots patriots, and it has all kinds of stuff in it, like rings, coins, t-shirts, tank tops, both in men's and women's sizes, different sort of accessories, even patriotic stuff, like look at these sneakers, Don't Tread on Me sneakers, those are pretty cool. And door knockers, and look, they even have a Trump phone case, which is really, really cool. So anytime you go to this site, you're actually supporting the grassroots patriot community. So I hope you guys will go to check out libertylaughs.net and see what they have to offer.
All of us coming back. I cannot accept this fate to black, and the thought of the wasted dreams of a nation down on its knees is already over. Tickets to the circus show. If you don't, then you'll never know. Take a stand while you have the time. Drown your fear and keep hope alive. Be the change that you want to see. Be the wrench inside the machine. Is it already over? Is it already over? It's over.
Good evening. Welcome to Small Town Underground. I'm trying to make sure everything is good. The phone lines are up. If anybody doesn't care, give me about 20 minutes before we call in tonight. I was not planning on doing a live stream because I had already done 2 interviews today. I got to interview Kelvin King for Secretary of State, whom I think is a great candidate. I really like what he's got to say, and I mean, I don't see anybody else better for the job. I'm going to say that. I don't do endorsements, but really like Kelvin King, and him and his wife are a powerhouse. They may not be perfect, right? Because we can't have perfect people. But we've got to have somebody, and I'm excited about Kelvin as the Secretary of State. And then I did another interview today at 5 p.m. with a very cool cat, Rick Hill from San Diego, who beat cancer, has been cancer-free for 50 years. Can't wait for his story to come out. Might even be a little bit unbelievable. But, of course, in the midst of all of that today. I was going to take the evening off and post Kelvin's interview, and then tomorrow night I'm going to post Rick Hill and just take the evening off. And Charlie Kirk was shot and killed today. He was assassinated today at a college campus in Utah. And lo and behold, super excited about the War Room Georgia today, watching Tori Branham get out on there and the work that she's doing and the things that she's saying. And I mean, we need fighters like Tori Branham in Georgia, because frankly, and I'm trying to be cool, but we've got to get rid of the shit in this state. We've got to get real people who care about humanity. And super excited to see Sheriff Mack, because I'm going to be interviewing him at the end of the month. So doing research on him. And then, of course, Mark Swanson, who's one of my heroes, you know. And then as I'm watching, I go into the other room because I'm actually kind of working today too. And it was a phone call we had to take care of, and I come back and the show has been broken up for the live. Breaking going on live. And it's like, what? Oh, Charlie Kirk's been shot. You know, that doesn't sound too bad. Great. Charlie Kirk's been shot. Okay. Let's get a hold of the situation here. What's going on? What does that mean? He's been shot in the leg, you know. And so I immediately, I'm over here watching their show, phone's over here, and I get on the computer. And as soon as I open up X, Rob Dew from InfoWars had the video posted. It was not what I was getting, you know, this far away sort of edited shot, and you don't know what's going on. And it was right in your face. And immediately I was like, oh my God. And my first instinct was, man, why are we showing this? This is uneasy. Why are we showing this? I don't, you know, why are we showing this? And it was playing on a loop, and I mean, like it just kind of took the breath away from me just to watch it. And I'm like, that was like my millisecond instinct. It was like, oh, I don't want to see this. Why are we watching this, right? And then as it kept replaying, and I immediately knew it was a shot in the neck, the carotid artery, one of the main arteries that, and I'm not going to say that there wasn't any miracle there. You know, I firmly believe, of course, in miracles, but that shot, you can't convince me that he was alive when they pulled him off the stage. That was I mean, even if the miracle had happened, which we'll talk about that because God is still in control, he would have been catatonic. There would have been, I mean, I don't think you can recover from a shot into the carotid artery like that. And I know there was speculation about the heart and the way that things were happening, and all of these things are racing through my head as my blood pressure's beginning to boil over, and I'm feeling all these emotions. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Whoa, you know, not wanting to believe what I'm seeing. And it was just like, it is what it is. I mean, crazy, absolutely crazy. And things are coming at us. And I realized that we needed to see that. As bad as that sounds, everybody should see this. In other words, you can't You can't turn your head and bury it in a pillow. You can't ignore what it is, what happened. You can't. You have to look at it and understand where we are at in society, in this culture, in the degeneracy. And I understand the argument, well, this is nothing new. People get killed every day, blah, yada, yada. I get it. But again, this was a war shot. And let's just call it like it is, right? No sugarcoating or anything like that. We were already reeling from the subway slashing, trying to make sense of this, trying to understand how the sick media, the sick, lying, demonic media could be hiding this kind of stuff from people, trying not to make a big deal out of it, trying to hide these things from us. What a senseless killing this poor girl went through in the subway. And you know what? It happens all the time. But to see Charlie Kirk being assassinated, and that's not, I don't care what anybody says, he wasn't shot. He was assassinated on that stage. Now, you know, a lot of people, as you can see behind me, I put up the Second Amendment. I didn't want to do this tonight. I even thought, you know, I don't even want to ride this bandwagon. I'm uncomfortable. But the problem is that last year when Donald Trump was shot, attempted assassination, well, it happened right after we had just got done at Lucretia and Dave's house with the big event. Had a blast. Worn out that weekend. We camped in their backyard. Alan and I, we stayed till the end. Jerry was there with us. Cleaned up, had a great time. And on the way back home, it was like everything completely changed. Like we were, at first we didn't believe it, right? It's the same thing happens here. You start getting these reports coming in about firecrackers going off and somebody popping a can, you know, whatever. And and of course the media, what do? Oh, he wasn't shot. It was a packet of ketchup. You know, but I'm to ride home with a live stream, a news live stream on, just listening to it, and like the whole time, like the hair standing on the back of my head. I'm like, oh my God, you know. And this felt a lot like that. And I know Kylie Kramer had made a post about it being very eerily the 10th of September, right? And I was thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, tomorrow's the 11th, and an assassination on the September the 10th. And it's just, the whole thing is just really eerie and crazy, right, to think about. And it's even more so now because, thank God, we have X. Where it's at now, we can get information at the tip of the finger, literally minutes. Like I said, I opened up X. I didn't even expect that. It was literally the first thing that pops up. But I guess I'm glad that was the first thing that popped up, because the realization has to get into our heads exactly what we're dealing with here. The fact that we are in a demonic spiritual war. We're in a culture war. We are in a civil war. We've been in a civil war. We have dark forces that control our military, the deep state. And I don't want to hear any more of this crap anymore. I see these people talking about, well, who is the deep state? Name it. That's bull crap. You know there's a deep state. You know exactly what we're talking about. Listen, we're not splitting hairs here or acting stupid. We all know. You can't call yourself a Christian if you don't believe in good versus evil. The deep state is a spiritual battle between evil people that wish to destroy the civilization, that wish to destroy humanity, wish to destroy
your family, your children, your society, your communities. Yes, there's a deep state. And the next idiot that I see that questions me about the deep state, you're just a moron. Okay? If you want to play that stupid game, then go somewhere else. Because there is, by God, a deep state, a deep demonic spiritual state that's got this nation in a stranglehold. It's got the world in a stranglehold. Go ahead, go watch one World Economic Forum video and tell me that there's not a deep state. You look at the bullshit that we've went through the past 8 years with Donald Trump and all the persecution and now what we're going through now. Tell me there's not a deep state. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my composure here. Again, so I've got several things pulled up, and going through all of this stuff, and we're getting information, like right now at the moment, at any point in time it could break that, because obviously the older man that they arrested today, I mean, they didn't even, that was not the shooter, okay? And that's the price you pay for getting that information. You got to disseminate it. We got to figure it out, and then everybody wants to know, and we all want to know. We all want to know what the heck happened. But according, to X, the suspect that this last suspect they released, and what I can tell is that maybe that was some sort of pellet gun he had, and they've released him, and the suspect is still at large. Now, the video evidence shows a pan, if you haven't already seen it, and I'll probably pull it up here in a minute. It shows a pan of the crowd, and you can see the shooter, the assassin, running away from his position from the top of that building. So we know that there was somebody up on that building. We know they took a shot, and then they ran. So it was not that old man. I can't imagine the chaos that ensued there. And then trying to disseminate all this information. And, of course, 5 minutes later, there's another picture of another person, and people are just throwing things out there. And we get it. We got to disseminate it 24 hours. But, man, it's so unfortunate. Now, let me explain, Charlie Kirk. I've watched a lot of Charlie Kirk. And the main reason that I went ahead and decided to do a live stream is because I got a call from my daughter, who is still in high school, and she was worried. She's like, "Dad, did you know that Charlie Kirk has been shot?" And I said, "Oh yes, it's all over the high school because Charlie Kirk is 31 years old, a very smart man who created something that all of us would probably dream about creating, right? Trying to kind of get into the GOPs and Republican parties and get the platforms back up because, the Republican Party is a cesspool, right? It's been a cesspool for a long time. So you have Turning Point kind of coming in, and no, Turning Point's not perfect, and but again, folks, if somebody can do 9 things right and 1 thing wrong, that's not our enemies, okay? We gotta kind of get out of that a little bit. I'm sick of that, okay? You're never going to get 100% of what you want ever in politics. There's nobody perfect. Jesus was the only person who was perfect on this earth. So if you can get 8 or 9 out of 10, you're doing something good. So for the most part, I thought Turning Point was fine. Did it have to be my cup of tea? No, but this kid, this 31-year-old man with a family, created something big. And if you're watching any of Charlie Kirk and you realize that he's been walking these fine lines around these narratives and these things, he can't get it right all the time. It doesn't matter who he endorsed or blah, yada, yada. That's all stupid crap that doesn't matter. The fact of it was that Charlie Kirk was a good dude. He was revered by many people. He was kind. He took care of people. And he was active in a movement where people like me that just run my mouth, right, and not do something, he was doing stuff. He was going to these campuses and talking to these people, and it's about irrefutable to watch Charlie Kirk and not sit there and be amazed at what he did. And I've been watching a lot of it lately because, I was impressed with this Turning Point convention they had recently. And again, Utah of all places. Utah. And it eerily looks very familiar to the Pennsylvania, doesn't it? But again, major voice in the conservative movement in logic and reason, right? Just common freaking sense. And man. So, a lot of people are speculating on the shooter, what type of shooter it was, and I'm going to tell you, it looked fairly professional to me. It looked professional, like a professional shooter. It looks, just this is just my speculation, but to me it looked like, they had access to the building. They were able, they obviously had an angle. All right, so this wasn't some, okay, hang on a minute. Hang on there, Mike, okay?
Yes.
Hold on one second. Let me turn this down just a second. So, I'm just going to speculate like anybody else, but it looked to me like they had a great angle. They had access to the building. That was a marksman-type shot. It looked like it was further distance away than what we saw in Pennsylvania. And God only knows, and we still have a suspect at large until, we check Twitter. But Charlie Kirk has lost his life in this culture war battle, and God is going to win through this ultimately. But we've got a war down here to fight. We're in a war, and there's no denying it. And every single person needs to look this dead in the face and realize where we're at and what's at stake here. So we're going to take our first call of the night. So welcome to the show, Mike. No denying it, and every single person. Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let me turn you off.
Yeah, turn me off because I get the echo.
Yeah, you're off now.
Okay, man. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Thank you for doing this, Roy. You do an outstanding job for our community so people like myself and others can voice what we see. But let me start off with this. If Charlie Kirk could have gotten up, I've seen the video, for 5 seconds, 3 words he would have said, repeated, fight, fight, fight.
That's right.
And that's what I think we need to, once we get over our mourning, I'll always mourn Charlie Kirk. He will be greatly missed. Mm-hmm. But he left us a template.
Yeah.
The template of God, Christianity, and most of all, how God is great and how our country, America, was great. This man, at a very young age, when he was a teenager, had a vision, and the vision is what we see today. He's had people like, I think it was Gary Rabine, sponsoring him and funneling money for his cause that he was doing here. And it was pretty simple. It was a simple cause that Gary noticed that said, hey, I've got 3 kids going through, one's just finishing college, and this young man, Charlie Kirk, is onto something here. And so they formed a very tight relationship. And so this was the nucleus, if you will, for how he came about. And that's what we have to do. We have to, our country was founded on biblical principles. There's just no way around it. All of our founding fathers believed in God. The question whether or not they practiced what they preached is that, we're all human.
That's right.
And so Charlie was very astute in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And you could see videos of him where he not only quotes the Bible, but puts the wisdom in the Bible, mm-hmm. where he talks about the difference between the scholarly aspect of school versus that there's no wisdom being interjected into what they're learning. So I'm just trying to say, hey, let's remember Charlie in the way what he was doing, and we need to be the next man or woman up to pick up the cause that he did. And the next time they have another Turning Point USA convention, they do it every December in Phoenix. I have always wanted to go, but I've never gone. And I know a lot of the young Republicans, the Georgia young Republicans, have gone. And I know a lot of these young men from Turning Point Action, really good people. And I just pray that they can fill the shoes of Charlie Kirk and
Yes.
continue this movement. And that's,
I agree.
we could talk about the shooter. We could talk about, I think it was like yourself. It's a professional hit job. No question about it.
There's no
200
question
yards away.
in my mind. I'm
Yeah.
obviously speculating. They're talking about it could be another trans shooter, and I don't disagree. At this point, anything is speculation, right? Knowing what I know about guns, knowing what I know about trajectory, about shooting some of these high-powered rifles, I can tell you right now, that wasn't just somebody that was just decided to go there and pick a fight. That was a well-placed well-placed angle on top of a building with access, high-powered rifle. You put all those denominations together, and I'm telling you, this was professional. This had to be. I'm not buying it. It was just some. I can totally see this idiot in Pennsylvania and missing the shot and where he was, and we have plenty of evidence, and we know he wasn't a lone gunman. He didn't act alone. We'll never know the truth, but he was not a professional. Okay, what happened here today was professional.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had a podcast, and my biggest fear was that people would forget about what happened in Pennsylvania, and now we see what's going on. And I just don't want people to focus on could this be trans or whatever. That doesn't matter. We're fighting evil regardless what it is.
We are.
We got to separate the noise from with the real facts.
We
of
do.
What's going down here.
We
And
do,
I
and
think
I will say this, Mike. I am confident. There's a lot of things that I guess I could say that me personally am unhappy with about Cash Patel and Bongino and things personally that I don't bring up on air, that I'm just watch. But I do not think that this particular case is going to go away or not be investigated, because I know that Cash Patel and Dan Bongino didn't have a damn thing to do with it. And so that's a saving grace for me, is that this will be investigated to the fullest. So.
Yeah, what do you mean about Cash Patel?
Well,
and
in other words,
Bongino?
we've had a compromised FBI for longer than we know. We had a compromised Secret Service, right? All of these institutions have been compromised, and what I'm saying is, at the very least, the fact that Cash Patel and Dan Bongino are now over the FBI, I believe that we will get some answers from whatever has happened today. I just believe that.
Well, we still don't know a lot about what happened with Trump in Pennsylvania.
I know, but I guess maybe it's some hopium. I don't know. I feel that, and I want to hang on to that because, again, maybe I'm completely wrong, but we can't lose total faith in these people. We can't.
You know something, Roy, that I think we can maybe take away from this is that we have this great divide in the Georgia Republican Party right now. Maybe if I get on my hands and knees and pray somehow that this would be a rallying case, say, hey, listen, we are not the enemy against each other. We can see it out there, and we're not only they're shooting us, but we're shooting each other through this division that we have in here. And Charlie was trying to save our country. If it wasn't for him, maybe Trump would not have won the presidency. His Turning Point Action.
That's
man,
true.
that thing was.
It
he
was a very
CEO
integral part of it.
Yes, and he's going to be sorely missed. So we need to get our acts together, because if we don't want them to win. And so here's a funny saying. Well, that my pastor told me. Chuck Ramsey. He said, when Christians lose, they quit. Mm-hmm. When Christians win, they quit. And then I'm asking myself, well, why is that? Well, if you look at the left and other religions, they speak of hate and submission, and they got a sword that they will cut your flesh open with, or a bullet they'll assassinate with you. With Christians, what's the biblical principle? It's love.
It's always love. Yeah.
Nobody else taught, and that makes it so hard for us to rally around
Right.
each other, because we're not haters by and large. We're human beings, and
That's
we
true.
make our mistakes, and we have our biases, and we need to overcome that and overcome it with love. Now, that does not mean we don't fight. Look at Trump, and he fights, and that's what we have to do right now, I believe. Can we get our Georgia GOP together, have some transparency in it as well, and let's have honest debates?
Sure.
We know the people out there that are evil and they're egotistical out there, in terms of they don't care about
Right.
unity and seeing we have a common enemy, and if we don't defeat them, we lose.
I agree, Mike. I
We
agree.
lose. Well, that's
All
about all I really have to say, and unless there's something else that you want to ask me. And
Well,
thank you for
no,
doing this show.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling. I'm going to leave the lines open for more callers because I know we've got a couple more that want to call. But
Good.
again, you're stellar. I love you to death, and I always appreciate you. And I know that you're going to be introducing Derek Grayson at the camp out on Saturday, October 4th.
On the 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited
It's going to
about
be
that.
a busy day.
Not only that,
It'll
but
be a
we
busy
just
day.
doubled our security force. So, yay!
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
I'm doing security now at my church.
Well, good.
So,
Okay.
yeah, you know what? I'll leave with this. Everybody's security. We're all security.
That's
We
right.
have to keep our eyes open, be vigilant at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So God bless you, Roy.
Thank you.
Prayers for Charlie, Kirk,
Yes,
Erica,
my family.
and their 2 children, and everybody
Yes.
else.
Thank you, Mike.
Amen.
I appreciate it.
Thank
you. Thanks. And Mike's right. He's right on so many things. I'll go into that. And like I said, feel free to call in. I mostly ran out of the way, and I'll share some stuff in a little bit. But we are Christian love and faith. We're supposed to be the ones that walk the higher road, always. And it's fight. I fully believe that we are in war. Okay. Whether it looks like whatever you think it looks like, this is it. So, all right, we got another call here. We'll answer this. Hey, Jonathan Garcia, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Okay. Let me turn. So am I live?
Yes, you're live.
Okay. All right. I had to turn the other feed off. So yeah, I'm shocked and mad at the same time that what happened to Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's time that we, the people, take off our rose-colored glasses and actually look at the situation that we're really in right now. We're deep into a war. As far as they've been escalating since 2016, 15, 16.
Longer than that, my friend.
It's as far as, they came out in the open and said that they're Democrat socialists. So, if they're feeling that comfortable, they're not going to let anything go, easy,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So,
Well, they've already been living in a world now where they've been comfortable, and now they've been emboldened and brazen. And now that Donald Trump is in office and conservatism is winning, now they're the rats back in the corner. They don't know how to act, what to do, so they're lashing out.
yep, they're just like a hurt animal, just like a
Exactly.
hurt predator, matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, they, they had the baseball park shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Oh yes,
Okay.
absolutely. There's more than we can count.
They do a lot of mass shootings too, which is very troubling.
That's right.
So, I think, when we really take off the glasses, we're going to have to keep a situational awareness.
At all times, yes.
Yeah. And it's nice to think that, we're all, at the end of the day, it's nice to think that we're all Americans and that we would think higher of each other. However, there are some Americans that hate this country.
For sure. People talk about you can't coexist with Muslims and Christians. Well, you can't coexist with this type of mental disorder, this liberalism, where they use murder tactics to kill off their opposition. This is insane. I saw a great little post that, the conservatives are debaters and the Democrats are murderers. And you know what I'm saying? It's the truth. At some point, you have to own it.
Yeah. And, you got to think about it like this, too, that, we'll say that the left are more aggressive to their end goals. But at the same time, the ones that get demonized and bastardized are the ones that are the patriots that do stand up.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
And
unfortunately, the news and media, they like to shine the light on oath keepers and
they fuel
three
the
percenters and militia, and they demonize the hell out of them. But honestly, they're just Americans that want to be left alone. To have the constitutional freedoms and the liberties intact. They don't want to lose nothing. They just want to raise their family in peace. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the ideology of communism and socialism and whatever ism else that you want to put them does not ring true to a constitutionalist.
No,
a person that really studies and is vigilant over their rights and their liberties.
Sure.
And I really hate it for the useful idiots out there that really think that they're doing the best for their cause. Mm-hmm. Because if anything, this not only has made more Republicans and more conservatives and more patriots.
Absolutely.
It's shined a light on who actually is against freedom of speech.
That's right.
Freedom of expression. Mm-hmm. And the right to have just common sense.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jonathan, I appreciate it. I've got a call. One call came in. I'm going to answer them. So, folks, I'm going to try to keep everything to 5 minutes or less because I know we got it coming in. But, hey, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to see you on October the 4th, right?
Yeah, you should see me there. I'll talk to you about everything else, but I'm probably not going to be able to speak.
Well, that's fine. If you can't, you can't. But either way, like I said, we'll take you up on that. But it's good to hear from you, Jonathan.
All right. Have a blessed evening.
You too. All right. Bye.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to get that caller back that called. I got another one coming in right now, so guys, just hang on. And I appreciate it. Let's keep them coming. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you this evening?
Hey.
Yes. Melissa?
Am I live? Yeah.
You are live. Yes, ma'am. Welcome to Small Town Underground.
How you doing? I didn't know that you'd answered. So, so I'm heartbroken about obviously what happened to Charlie, and it's just a sad state where our country is in, that we cannot even have public debate. And you go back to our founders. One of the other callers was talking about the founders. We're not only just given the right and the privilege to debate and call it our government, but it is our duty to question what's being done.
It absolutely is.
And Charlie is now a martyr because he just did that.
Right. This has made his message more powerful than these idiots could have ever imagined.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Charlie is now he's the martyr. My brother's staying with me from New York, and some of the crazies up there have already started making T-shirts, um, uh, mocking this
Oh
assassination.
God,
Which
yeah.
yeah, which I find pretty disgusting. But I kind of want to bring this down to a local level. And I've been traveling a lot. I was in Montana. I got home yesterday, and my husband said, "You need to watch our last Walker County Commission meeting," and I did. And then this happened today, and it all kind of ties in together, I think.
Right.
But we had our chairperson talk about community members as weeds.
Yes, I saw that actually.
Yeah, and I think she's a good person, and I want to say I don't think that she would ever incite anyone to violence. So let me just throw that out there. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
accusing her of doing anything like that. But words matter.
Yeah.
And what we say matters. And when it reminded me of the basket of deplorables that Hillary Clinton said,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
When you just dismiss
Sorry.
an entire portion of your community as weeds, and what do you do with weeds? You pull them out and you kill them, right? I couldn't believe that. And then this happened today because Charlie was exercising his right. Oh, do you have it?
I think I have it. I do remember watching this the other day. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm not sure exactly where it's at. But we can see if we can pull it up here.
From tonight's agenda, we're tabling that. Talk about the minutes from committees being formed to tackle long-standing community issues and to encourage positive changes in our departments.
You got
so
it.
I have a different type of message for
Can you hear it?
Okay. I can't, but you just tell me when you're done.
Okay.
I realized that the task
Hang on, that's where it started right here.
School
So
has started back. Football has begun. My daughter's back at college, and I'm starting my 9th month in office. As life moves forward, so does my efforts to continue improving services and the image of our great county. We will hear later about 2 new committees being formed to tackle long-standing community issues and to encourage positive changes.
Yeah, that's it
in our
right there.
departments.
okay.
So I have a different type of message for you tonight.
Okay, here's the message.
Last week, while pulling weeds from my flower garden, I realized that the task felt very familiar. It's much like what the work is we do every day in the county. Pulling weeds from a garden is like removing negative intentions that come from external sources. If left alone, weeds can take over and spread quickly, choking out growth and draining energy. But when we address them early, pulling them before they spread, we create space for positive ideas and healthy collaboration to thrive. Some weeds I know by name. Some remain anonymous because they think they can hide behind beautiful flowers.
That's kind of harsh.
Brought to me every day, and it's just like that. No matter if I know the name or not, I make a priority to address every concern that is brought.
Okay, I see your point. So yeah, I did watch the meeting the other day, and I did see that statement or hear that statement, and I was kind of like, wow. You're absolutely right. The words do matter, especially when you use it in the context of who they are, as opposed to.
And if you listen further to the statement, I think it says something like, if you hear somebody talking negatively about government, have them call me.
Right. Well, well, I mean, what are we supposed to do? It's no longer business as usual. Okay. And I mean, we are supposed to be watching. We're supposed to be looking at everything that's going on. I don't understand this. If there's nothing to hide, if there's nothing wrong, then everything should be transparent, right? Why would you need to call people weeds and pretend like they are some sort of a problem or they're stirring up trouble for no reason? It's beyond me. But a lot of our elected representatives feel that way.
Yes, I mean, and not just locally. I mean, I'm just not just picking on one person. I mean, this is thus the reason Charlie Kirk is now a martyr. Is because that politicians, we've lost the ability to debate.
Right.
We've lost the ability to have people at the table with different beliefs. You know, everybody lives in their own little echo chamber.
Yes.
And it's time that we invite people to the table and earnestly listen to them that believe opposite of what we do.
Well,
You know, that's
I can't.
that's collaboration. That's how we
Yes.
we will heal this country. But right now, you know, by just name calling people,
Right.
weeds, deplorables, you know, whatever, right?
We need an open dialogue.
What good does that do?
It doesn't do it. To me, it seems to stir the pot more. I don't understand that. I don't understand. You know, maybe if there was some context to go with that, to something more specific, but as vague as that statement is, it's hard to pinpoint. And I'm sure that was meant to be vague, right? But again, I don't understand this. It's no longer business as usual. People are paying attention now to every single facet. Look, the Floyd County commissioners couldn't even move forward with a tax, all right, that they were ready to install on their people because one person stood up and read them the OGCA laws and statutes and said, you're doing this wrong. And they tried to shut him up and make him look like a fool, and they ended up having to shut that meeting down and admit that they'd been doing it wrong for 25 years. Okay?
Right. Yes.
Now, is that person just a troublemaker, or is it somebody who is trying to hold their people accountable and do things the right way? I mean, come on. You can call them what you want all day long, but at the end of the day, we have got to get this stuff right. We cannot continue to operate just by whoever's in charge doing whatever the hell they want to do. It doesn't work that way.
Yes, and we have to, again, watch our words, right?
Yes.
Because they do matter. And I would even, you know, when I speak out, right, I never attack a person. I attack the policy. I attack, you know, if I disagree with how they are governing, right?
Right.
Because it never should be personal.
Right. No, it's that is the other part of this. It is an emotional thing. It's not personal. People do not know how to handle just business and not allow it to get personal. And that is one of the root causes of why we have so much breakdowns.
I agree. But you're doing a great job, Roy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you getting on the air. Appreciate you bringing awareness to all of these issues. And so I'll keep it to my 5 minutes and let you move on to somebody else.
Thank you, and I appreciate you, okay?
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too. All right, Tyler, just hang tight. I got one call in front of you, and then I'm going to get you, sir, so just hang tight. Let me go ahead. I'm glad you guys are calling in. It's making me feel better. I'm hoping that we can talk this out together. So, Wild. Hello. Welcome to Small Town Underground.
Hey, how are you, Roy?
I'm good. How are you? Is this Holly, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's been a wild day, and I'm either wound up or winding down. But how are you?
I'm hanging in there, you know.
Yeah. It's such a travesty.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts tonight?
Well, you know, I was on live with Antonio earlier.
Yes.
And are we live now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I was just in the car driving, pick up my girls from school, and y'all had that breaking news regarding what had happened with Charlie Kirk. And you know, I have a few thoughts, and it's been an emotional day,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know, as it's been for a lot of people. But here's the thing, going on social media, and I'm watching a lot of people write a lot of well-intended things, almost as if our goal at this point should be to obtain some type of utopia that respectfully is not going to happen.
Yes.
This idea that we are going to just love each other out of this or come to a place of common ground. It's a society and it's a world that has never existed since the foundations were formed by God himself. And it is a society and a world that will never come to be.
You're
because
so right.
The reality is that what we saw take place today with Charlie it's deeper than him speaking on and upholding our constitutional rights. It's deeper than him being so well articulate at defining terms and explaining the origins of our nation and the intention of its formation. It's so much deeper than those things, because everything that Charlie did was laced with the gospel.
That's
and
right.
was rooted in scripture. And that is what causes demons to manifest, is
Yes.
when we take everything back to the authority and the will of God.
Yeah.
And that is what I believe we saw ultimately cause somebody to take someone's life today. And so I see these things on social media where people are saying, we have to find a common ground. We have to work together. Respectfully, no. Where is their common ground? What are we looking to compromise on to obtain that common ground, to get to that place? Folks, we need to decide, are we a pagan nation or are we a Christian nation? And then we need to come to the reality that it is a whole heck of a lot easier for a pagan to live in a Christian nation than it is for a Christian to live in a pagan nation. And we are at, no pun intended, an actual turning point in this country. And we need to come to the realization that love, biblical love, as articulated and laid out and read by Jesus himself, means speaking the truth and the authority of the scriptures. And the truth is that what we are seeing in this country is God lifting his hand of restraint off of our nation and finding a common ground, a middle place, or this babble about love respectfully is not what we have been called to do. Not in that context, not in the way that many of us have been deceived to believe that's what it means. What we need to do as a nation right now, number one, we need elected officials who fear God more than they fear man.
Absolutely.
We need people down at our capital here in the state of Georgia and down in DC that know one day they are going to stand before their creator in the same way that Charlie stood before his today.
Yeah.
Okay? And they will be held to an account for what they have done with what has been given to them. And scripture says that we are to hold them to a higher account and a higher level of authority, because they have been given this role. And because they have been given this role, this is serious business. We need lawmakers that are elected who are not more afraid of the speaker than they are of standing before God.
I agree.
The floor leader, their caucus leader, the lobbyists, or the donors. I do not care. Okay, and for the ones that profess to be believers, those are the ones that we need to remind them every day as a brother and sister in Christ. Who do you answer to? Who do you fear? Do you fear the Lord your God, or do you fear man? Because this will all come to pass, but one day, just like Charlie, you are going to stand before your creator and you're going to give an account for what God has given you an opportunity to do as a professing believer. Two, for those that are in those positions of authority that are not followers of Christ, okay, we need, as the church, we need to be the ones out there discipling them. We need to stop assuming that just because there is an R at the end of their name, that they understand what they have, the position they've been put on in, and the level of expectation that the church has for them and with them. And with that, that means coming alongside these lawmakers, offering education, prayer, guidance, discipleship, and again, accountability, because whether they are in Christ or not, God ultimately has decided for one reason or another to put them in that position.
That's right.
And we are to respect that position. We are supposed to respect the authority of that position. And that means we have a role to do as well. And when it comes to the church needs to vote. I am sorry. I am so tired of this dialogue and this back and forth every election season. Can Christians vote Democrat? The answer is no. No,
Right.
the church cannot vote Democrat. End of story, period.
Yeah,
I don't,
agree
we've
with
got
you
to stop with that.
wholeheartedly.
Okay, and when it comes to, now let's talk about the Republicans. Okay, we don't vote Republican simply because we are Christians. But and we will have that conversation about, well, not every Republican is a Christian. Well, clearly we all know that. But you know what, church? If the church would get up off their behinds and actually vote for the proper folks that have the level of discernment and calling on their lives, okay, to be in those positions, then maybe we would elect those to a party that would truly represent the church. Okay, we have, as a body of believers, everything that we need in this hour to be able to turn this around. God's will be done, but it is done through us. And we have to be a willing vessel for that to be accomplished. And when I look at someone like Charlie Kirk, who has, at the age of 18, age of 18 years old, say, God, use me in this way. And God instill in him these gifts to be able to articulate so beautifully these different topics and concepts, and then to just the word just flow out of him, and the way he would stand before these students and without compromise, but in such a beautiful, loving way, speak the truth. And it grieves me, because I know in Christ, to live for Christ is never to die in vain. Charlie has received his reward today. Yeah. He has received his reward. Okay. Yeah. And when I think of my son, my oldest son, he's 18 years old now, and I took him to the Trump rally that Turning Point had put on here in Georgia almost a year ago. And they were selling the MAGA hats, right? And he said he wanted one. And I thought about that hat today, and I'm gonna wear it tomorrow and in the coming days. And not because of Trump, and not because of the Republican Party or anything like that, but because when Trump won the election, and I think of watching that video of Charlie Kirk wearing that hat and the election results being announced, and knowing how God had used Charlie profoundly, not only in the state of Georgia, but in this country, for his will to be accomplished in this election. And for Charlie to sit there with that hat on his head and to continue to give all glory to God, not himself, not Turning Point, but to God, that all glory went to him. And when I think of my son going to that Turning Point rally and seeing Trump on that stage, and knowing that the election was coming, and everything that we heard, and as believers understanding that God had ordained us to be in this time and space today for a reason. There is no coincidence in his existence, nor mine, nor any of ours. Yeah. And to know now that my son would watch Charlie's videos and feel such excitement to be able to see him on that stage, even more so than Trump. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, for me to see Charlie, what God was doing with Charlie, to then be able to show my son, make America great again, to him was, maybe it is very different than what it is to you and I. To him, it was, COVID. What was it before COVID? What was it before face masks? What was it before they shut down schools? What was it before, hearing about election fraud? What was it? And, in that context of just the small amount of time that he's been on this world. And then also, make America great again. What does that mean in the context of his grandfather coming to this country, escaping Romania, escaping communism so he could come here? Is in that context, make America great again. Yes. And to know that, God used Charlie in such a way that he would give a kid like mine and so many other kids a tangible person here in his generation that he could look at and say, if God could do that with Charlie, then surely what could God do with me? And I know we're not supposed to never exalt man higher than God, and ultimately I'm so thankful for the life of Charlie Kirk, and I don't mean to ramble.
No,
I just
God, this is
I'm
powerful.
I'm
You get me
I'm
all teary-eyed
so
over here.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the example that he set.
Yes.
I'm thankful that my children, my teenagers got to see in real time that when that young man first started, it was a whole college campus against him.
That's right.
And he never gave up. And in these recent years, look what we saw. It was a whole college campus for him.
Yeah.
It was
That's right.
it all shifted. It all changed to the glory of God.
Yeah.
And and to see, and I know we don't know why the motives and whatnot, and yes, I agree that there is probably something far more nefarious than just
Right.
some random person off the street. But I'll tell you what, it is not a coincidence that we have all of these accounts of these people who were there
Yes.
stating that Charlie was asked about the trans agenda. He gave his opinion, which has been unwavering, and he was shot immediately after.
Yes.
And right here in Georgia right now, right here in Georgia right now, this last session, I sat inside of a committee hearing, and we were talking about school safety. And inside that committee hearing, we had the DOJ and the Georgia Department of Education show up and propose that we were going to create a list, if you will. And this was off the heels of the tragedy that had taken place in Barrow County. And this list was going to follow students that they deemed needed to be tracked based off of certain metrics, if you will, that could potentially be a threat to a school. Right. And I'm listening to this, and I heard one lawmaker ask on that committee, okay, so what is something that you think would be worth them being put on this list? DOJ said, maybe we'll find out that a student was looking up ISIS on a school computer. And I sat there and I thought, where am I? I don't even know that my children know what ISIS is, first of all, okay? Second of all, that's ridiculous. I feel like I'm being gaslit. When that meeting was over, I pulled aside a couple of our lawmakers and I said, look, I'm about to make you very uncomfortable, but here's the truth. If you want to be serious about what is happening inside of our schools, then you need to hear me loud and clear. Number one, I'm not taking a single person seriously when it comes to creating any kind of list. If not, we put at that very top of that list every student who claims to identify as being the gender that they were not born as. Every student who is identifying as trans, because sorry, that then comes into the next part. A lot of these students are on mind-altering drugs.
Yes,
Did you know that our public schools right now are signing contracts to bring in telehealth companies and other forms of psychiatrists into our campuses so that way they can have direct access to our children, so they can put them on mind-altering drugs that would then further harm them and the development of their brains, in conjunction to them being gender confused. Okay, number 3, we are also in our public schools cultivating a culture within our students that is teaching these children that Christians, conservatives, and Republicans are dangerous and that they are out to get them. Okay, so you put those 3 together, and we are creating homegrown, homebred terrorists right in the halls of our public schools.
That's right.
And they looked at me like I have 4 eyes, but I know exactly what I'm talking about, and they do too. Does this mean they know it? And does this mean that every single student, I would go as far to say is every single student who has ever brought a weapon and killed a child in any school does fall under one of those 3 criteria.
That's right.
And I will stand by that. Yep. In addition to that, let me tell you, we also have a bill that had a committee hearing, and it is the abortion abolitionist bill. And here in the state of Georgia, we have a profound opportunity to respect life and call it what it is from conception, exactly how Charlie Kirk did every day of his life. From conception, that is a human being. And I would ask every single lawmaker right now that professes to be a believer, that remotely struggles with accepting the fact that they're going to have to vote on something like that should it hit the floor. And I would ask them, I would ask them, you tell me at what point during Mary's pregnancy with our Lord and Savior
Come on.
was Jesus, the Son of God? Tell me, at what point? Was it at 6 weeks? Was it at conception? Was it when the Holy Spirit fell upon her and said that she was pregnant? I would venture to say that you as a Christian would say that it was at conception, because we all know. We all know that is a life at conception.
Yes.
And we are going to continue to see the slaughtering of life and all of these different facets if we do not boldly take care of this issue.
That's right.
I feel we are under the judgment of God in this nation, in this country. And I am done hearing about the heartbeat bill. Respectfully, I am done. It is a moot point at this point.
It's a clown show.
Because we have more abortions taking place by way of chemical abortion in the state of Georgia collectively since we passed the heartbeat bill than the 3 years prior to it being passed.
Right.
And there's so many stats that prove. I went to South Georgia and I pulled over to get some gas. I went in to pay for gas. And when I went up to that little podunk desk, they had the abortion pill right there on the counter for sale within hand's reach. This is happening in our country. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of babies being flushed down toilets in our state, making that tissue of life, making its way into our waterways.
That's right.
Let me just tell you, our water systems are not created to deal with human tissue that is coming through at a dramatic rate. Okay. Nobody wants to talk about this.
That's right.
I don't want to hear about the heartbeat bill no more. I'm done. I'm done. Okay. I'm done.
Yes.
I want to hear the church rise up.
Right. That's right.
I don't want to hear a single Christian elected official, Christian leader, Christian grassroots organization. I don't want to hear a single one of them talk about how Charlie was such an upstanding man and how he is someone that we should all, aspire
emulate.
to be.
Exactly.
That's right. Unless you are actually going to do it, because he is your brother in Christ, as you claim to be. So the standard that God has set for Charlie, he has set for you too. It is not that complicated.
Yes.
It is not. It is not, different for you, me, and anybody else. No. And so when it comes to, I'm mourning and I'm grieving over what has happened to Charlie. But I'm angry too.
This is a war, Holly. We're in a war. It may not look like muskets and civil and kinetic, but this has been a spiritual war for a long time, and it's now coming to a head. All right? When we're getting immigrants slashed in the subway, when Charlie Kirk is being killed assassinated by God knows what, we are in a war, and you are right. The Christian nation must stand up against this. It is time that we stop playing politics and, like you said, the heartbeat bill. Oh, it is the cute little blue ribbon election committee. Let's just start calling this crap out for what it is. We are not going to take this anymore from our establishment Republicans who are allowing this uniparty to fester and allowing all of these things to take place. We're done. I am done with this crap.
And I hope that righteous anger is stirring up and being cultivated in every believer right now. And I hope conviction is falling upon the church for those who have not done what they have been called to do. We need to have the same boldness that Charlie showed so many young people. We're supposed to be pillars of salt. We are supposed to be seasoned Christians at this season of life. Okay. Where are those seasoned Christians? And we should be the ones setting the example. So right now, I am praying that there is conviction falling upon the church and that they repent over the fact that they have not been a good steward with what God has given to them. They're going to turn away from those ways, and they are going to now operate in the way that they have been called, and they are going to enter into the public square in the same way that Charlie did, and they're going to open their mouth and they're going to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ in every policy and every election and every law and anything that comes our way by way of government. We are going to do it with the foundation of the word, and that is good for everyone. Charlie always highlighted so well and so articulately that there was a time in this nation when other religions and cultures would come to this country, they knew this was a Christian nation.
Yes.
They understood that because it was a Christian nation, that they were safe to be able to practice
Exactly.
the religion that they chose to practice or none. Okay, they recognized that it was through the Christian faith that they were able to come to a nation where they had the ability to pursue life and freedom and liberty, right?
Right.
And they recognized that it was because that was our culture. That was our foundation. That was what we were rooted in. And it wasn't one that was to be forced upon them. But when we keep talking about all this middle ground and coming to some conclusion where we're all going to compromise or whatever.
That's right.
No, there is no compromising when it comes to the gospel. Christianity is not one where we force it upon anybody. But like I said, we are either a pagan nation or we are a Christian nation. And it is a whole lot easier to be a pagan and a Christian nation than it is to be a Christian and a pagan nation. And so the church has work to do, and we are running out of time. And like I said, the hand of God's hand of restraint is being lifted off of this country. And I'm sorry, but his justice is going to fall on all of us.
That's right.
And I know where I'm going to go, just like I am certain that Charlie knew where he was going to go one day. But when I stand before God and I'm a sinner in need of grace every day, and I thank God that we serve a God that has grace that just abounds.
Mm-hmm.
And in spite of me and in spite of my sin, he still uses little me and little you and anybody else who is listening and anybody else who is grieving the loss of someone like Charlie. And hopefully using this as an opportunity to draw us closer to him and to come to the truth of the gospel. And that is what this is all about. And I'm not saying we should not talk about these things with our commissioners and, and our rights with the Constitution being trampled and all that. But we have got to start calling a spade a spade. We have to start saying it is what it is. And when it comes to politics in the church, the left is trying to say that the church is trying to get political. No, politics is getting religious.
Yes.
There was a time in this nation where politics used to just mean let's talk about funding the new freeway, or let's just talk about, this different program or that. No, now we are talking about legislation that would force me to pay for a parent to cut the healthy organs off of their child. Okay, that is spiritual. That's not politics.
No, it's not.
That is the enemy himself coming after God's creation.
Man,
and
that's good.
And so I'm sorry to just thank you for this opportunity to really get this.
I wasn't about to stop you. I'm gonna cut this part out and share it individually. This needs to be heard, Holly. I thank you so much for calling in, because that was a powerful statement, and it's 100% accurate. And it's going to take us getting together and facing this thing square in the eyes and moving forward with it. Right there is our shield, our sword in front of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do we have to fear?
No.
We should have no fear. Charlie had no fear.
Like I've said it 100. God is ultimately, he is going to win whether I have a breath in my body or not. So what do I have to fear? Because I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for God speaking to me and not giving up on me and showing me that I was living a lie, that he is real and Jesus is real. And I am a horrible sinner and I am not worthy of any of this, but I would not be here right now if it wasn't for him. So.
Amen. Well, I appreciate you, Roy, and all that you do.
I appreciate you.
My buddy Antonio over here in Gwinnett, and
wonderful people. The best dadgum people I've met. You guys are awesome. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for your time, Roy.
You.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you. Wow, what a powerful statement. I wasn't about to stop her. She is 100% spot on. Man, that is just. Thank you for calling in. We needed that for real. Whew.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Okay, so I'm gonna try Tyler one more time and see if I can get him. I may not be able to. Oh, it's ringing. Wonderful. All right, we'll give him a minute. Maybe he'll be able to call back in. Sorry about that, Tyler. But if you want, you can call back in. Ned, I'll get you in just a minute, okay? Yeah, wow. So I had a whole bunch of clips to cover tonight, and it's, to me, way more important to hear the calls. I think we're all grieving. I think this is sort of, like pulling the covers off, turning the lights on, and getting smacked in the face, with a whipped cream pie. This is right here in front of us. We should not look away. We should understand what all of this is. These are war shots, okay? And they're not the only war shots. But, man, this is, at some point, again, we've got to face this for what it is. We are in a spiritual war and a spiritual battle with dark, dark spirits. So I was going to pull up a lot of the Twitter stuff that I saw, the X stuff. It's all out there. We're sharing it. And so I'm just going to skim through the comments real quick, and then I'll get with, see if Tyler can call back, and then if not, I'll get Ned. So good to see you, Denise, Lisa Adams. Knees down, prayers up. Is this real life? I wrote that song for the intro. Is it already over? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that it's already over. We already know how this battle, it turns out, how it plays out regardless. But, I feel like that, yes, we're at Holly said it, we're at a turning point. We've been at a turning point. We have the ability to bring back this golden age, a different golden age, to correct the mistakes, right the wrongs. We're fighting constantly against our own party because they are negligent, they are a part of this system that we're desperately trying to eradicate these people and put in independent thinkers who will use their positions to fix things. And, is it already over? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, nobody's turning away from this moment in time. And we're not going to take it lying down. So, Beth Pierce, sad day for sure. Good to see you, Beth. It's shocking to see something like that. And the narratives, they can't control the narratives any longer. The media, the mainstream media, MSNBC, if anybody, I don't ever want to, I'm never even going to look at another MSNBC article. These people are just putrid, vile network. CNN used to be the clown news network. It still is. But MSNBC is beneath. It is straight from the pits of hell, MSNBC. And you can go see the clips. I'm not going to play them tonight for time. But my God, it had me boiling over. These people are demonic in their stupid comments, and I hope that MSNBC crumbles. I hope that they go completely out of business. I hope they lose every penny and they just become completely defunct and piss on them because they are just horrible. Oh, such a horrible excuse for anything. Let's see. Of course, everybody's struggling. Yeah, again, this is just God have mercy, to see something like this. But again, I went off on a tangent. We are the media now. All right, we are the media. We are the Charlie Kirk. We are the people that are trying to bring the truth out. And we don't always get it right. Antonio and I had to talk about it the other day. We're not perfect. We don't get it right. I'll get a post, and thank God people will check me and send me messages, and I fix them. But again, we are trying to do the right thing. These people are trying to lie to you and trying to control the narrative and trying to continue to race bait and divide you and gaslight you. And it's a dang shame is what it is. But we are the media now. And what happened today is a narrative that they couldn't control, right? Just like the narrative of the last trans shooter. They couldn't control. We got that up. People need to see this for what it is and understand it and not let them bury this kind of stuff. God, what are they? They sat on this subway killing for like a month, for crying out loud. They still won't release. Well, who was it telling me? Remember the Daniel Penny incident, right? They bombarded us with a man that put somebody in a chokehold for violence, and yet we're watching subway video after subway video, bus video of people getting their crap beat out of them, people getting their necks slashed, and nobody's doing a thing. But we demonize somebody for stopping violence. Ugh, it's just sickening. We're completely backwards. Christina Benjamin, good to see you. I love Haley Metz. If you're not following Haley Metz, the American Advocate, you need to be following. This woman uncovers it all, and it's wonderful stuff. And I hope one day she will grace us with her presence on the show. And I'd let her just go buck wild wherever she wants to go. And William McMillan, another great patriot. Good to see you. David Naha, my brother. He says, I'm absolutely dumbfounded at the moment. My wife hasn't stopped crying for hours. It's completely shocking. Completely shocking to see what we've seen today, and to know what it really is. Richard Schroeder, great to have you. This is so hard to accept. Corruption out of control, no law and order, no liberty, no justice for all. I mean, all of our institutions are still a joke. We're still having court cases being fought over what we're trying to do. Okay, good. Here's Tyler back, so I'm gonna bring him in. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, what's going on,
My
Lloyd?
brother, it's been a minute. How are you, sir?
Same. It's been a while since I've done one of these.
Yes. Welcome to the show, my friend. What's on your mind this evening?
Well, first, I want to know how Roy's doing with all this. I've heard a lot of other people talk, and the last caller, that was pretty powerful stuff.
It was.
And I want to know what you think.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I think even if you and me don't speak for a month or two, we're both kind of on our own journeys right now, but I think our consciousness always meets in the middle. I continue to say that we've been at war for a long time. It's a cultural, spiritual war, and I think it's only going to escalate because conservatism is winning out. We are actually trying to correct the ship, and so we're seeing the rats scurry into the corners. I think you and we've known each other for a long, long time, and we've always been prepared. I go back to when we were very active in your county with the statues removal, the groups we were planning. I always remember before COVID, the feelings where we were not going to let our towns turn into Charlottesville. We were not going to let people come in and destroy us. We were seeing the cities burn. And we lost that. We lost that when they shut the world down for COVID. And we've never been able to get it back. But how I feel right now is that same spirit that I felt several years ago, like, oh, it's on, We're not going to take this lying down. That's how I feel. What about you?
I agree. It's just some things about this. Like I've been, like everybody else, I've been watching footage.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I mean, some people can't stomach it, and I completely understand. But I guess you could say hyperanalyze this stuff, and just looking at it and coming to the realization that anytime there's a mass shooting or anything else, and even a lot of like with the Trump assassination attempt in Butler. Mm-hmm. A lot of the live feeds were scrubbed very, very shortly after, and even now, I mean, they're just not being scrubbed. The social media, YouTube's a big one, Facebook's a big one. That any type of violent content is gone, and we have, still right now, we have this unedited content still up, allowing people to see, and something that doesn't sit well with me, and I notice with, all the Fox News and Newsmax reporters getting, emotional, and I completely understand it, but it's also sending a message to them that, nothing is now off the table.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if you're a conservative political pundit. Charlie Kirk was a big, he wasn't even really working for networks. He did his own thing. He was, a quote unquote influencer, and doing his own thing with Turning Point, and they're sending a message, and I think that's why they're leaving this stuff up, to say, hey, we can get you now. This is
are you kidding
if
me?
you're not gonna toe the line, then we're just gonna take you off the board.
Sure. I'll go one step further without going there, but there's a lot of if you're paying attention on X, you're seeing a lot of people talk about, about a month ago, a certain interview that Charlie Kirk was having where very uneasy about some certain topics and situations that he was trying to kind of, get through, as we all try to get through. And basically saying that, that he even said a month ago that he thought that if he went too far over a line, they would kill him. I mean, this was a month ago. He was saying this. We all know this is a clear, yes, of course, a clear message. I believe Butler, Pennsylvania would have been a very clear message had they not, this kid had not missed or Trump hadn't turned his head. I believe it was a miracle that we witnessed. But this was a clear message. They want you and me and all these people to shut up and to pack up our stuff and to fall right back in line and just ignore everything they have going on. It's what is it? I had it right here and I wanted to show it. An anarcho. Have you heard of that term? Anarcho tyranny.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up because you'll definitely appreciate this. Anarcho tyranny is a concept where the state is argued to be more interested in controlling citizens so that they do not oppose the managerial class rather than controlling real criminals. Laws are argued to be enforced only selectively depending on what is perceived to be beneficial for the ruling elite. That's exactly where we're at in this nation, is an anarcho-tyranny.
Yeah, they're orchestrating it and organizing it because they want us to depend on them, the government, so they can usher us into a communist state.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where it's coming to, and I hear so much of people saying, "Hey, we got to talk this out. We got to figure this out." And I'm trying, and me, like a lot of people have asked where I've been in the political sphere, and I've checked out because I understood a few years ago. I'm like, there's no more talking.
Yeah.
You cannot. Even with the statue incident here in Dalton, you cannot talk or reason with these people. They hate you.
Yes.
They want you dead. They do not.
Dead.
They are a godless people. Mm-hmm. No matter what they try to say that they are, they're godless because the hate that bleeds and breeds inside of them is stronger than any religion that they follow.
That's right.
And there's no reasoning with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I've decided to check out of the politics, because we can't talk it over anymore, and the politics is not going to be the thing that saves us anymore. I mean,
no, it's not.
Charlie was doing everything by the book the right way and winning people over, and it's like as soon as you get that strong, they're going to take you off the board, like I said.
Yep.
And so that's, if you're a man, if you're a male listening to this, then you need to be looking at getting fit. You need to look in the mirror and take a hard look at yourself. And I'm not talking about, looking like a supermodel or anything like that. I'm saying you need to be fit enough to move for a mile.
Yep.
You need to dust off that firearm that's been sitting around that, you probably haven't touched since Trump got elected because, hey, he's going to fix everything, right?
Right.
Now, it's time to dust that off. It's time to start carrying a handgun, because just like what happened in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was actually up there during that time with my job, and I was about 2 miles away from that rail line where that happened.
Right.
And this gentleman, this piece of filth, trash, stabbed that woman because she was a certain color. So I'm going to be careful with what I say because of our Facebook overlords, but that's what you have to worry about now. Mm-hmm. And, being in a certain neighborhood in a certain color, you could be taken out.
That's right.
That's what we're getting at now. These people, there's no reasoning with them. They are a mad dog let off the chain. Mm-hmm. And, this whole thing with Trump making it back in office, and the media is just enticing them and pushing them more and more to the edge. And they don't care. They don't care which way it goes, because in the end, the people that are pulling the puppet strings win either way, whether the right or the left. Because that's the thing. If we wipe the board off with these, mega communist libs, we still got to deal with what's left of the Republican Party.
That's right.
I mean, there's enough problems in the Republican Party to last us another 200 years.
That's right.
Easy.
Well, that's why we need
And
Tyler Martin running for office. We can fix it with
no,
you. I'm telling you we can.
I don't want it.
I know you
There's
don't.
no
I don't
fixing
either.
it, man.
But that's what it's going to
There's
take.
I like to try to lean into the religious aspect. It's hard to. It's hard with these times because when you get a peek behind the curtain and you see how all the parts move and you understand that it's not right, it's dirty, it's
Oh,
greasy,
no.
it's grimy, and you just don't want a part of it anymore.
No, it's like the Matrix. You start seeing it, everything like the Matrix, the curtain and the Wizard of Oz. And then when you see it, you can't unsee it anymore. And this is why I think, again, you brought this up about the Republicans. I'll give you an example, and I'm not picking on Burt Jones, but let's just take him for example. He comes out strong in the very beginning about, we're going to do away with income taxes, right? All you got to do is vote for me. And see, we can see the Matrix now, right? So that doesn't work on me because I can see past it. When you have another entire legislative session that you could do away with income taxes and work on property taxes and all these things. But no, it's a quid pro quo for all the people that ain't paying attention out there. You cannot unsee this stuff. We're not going back to the way it was.
Right.
So,
it's a carrot and a stick. I mean, it's just like Kemp did with us with constitutional carry.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. I like, the more I've looked into this, I see the propaganda on both sides, so it gets easier to form, a more neutral opinion about the situations, because it's like the propaganda on each side is just as bad. It's equally as bad, and it's designed to gaslight us. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's a lot of right-leaning influencers out there that won't talk about the big I country, and everything going on there. And I'm like, how's that any different?
Well, exactly. And that's what Charlie Kirk was skirting around a month ago.
I know.
As
on Megyn Kelly.
We can't even have an honest discussion about that. Well, they're the most protected class in this entire world, and you can't say anything different. And it's disturbing to me that people will blindly follow that like it's some sort of a sin. I'm not trying to even pick on anybody. I'm just saying the truth is the truth.
What's that? They're trying to elevate all these other social classes and races above white people.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, as racist as that may sound, it's the damn truth. It's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, well, you look at racism, right? What is more beneficial for people with different color skin to get along and to grow up in a culture together and assimilate together, or is it better to keep them fighting and biting at each other and create these these degenerative cultures that they can melt away in and become dependent on the system instead of being an independent thinker and worker? Of course, it's always going to be more beneficial to keep people divided because that's where the money comes from, see? You got to keep people hating each other all the time, and you got to keep people dumbed down so that they'll give you all of the money, and you'll still have that purpose, see?
Yeah.
It's insanity.
And then everybody's still preoccupied with fighting each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Over stupid colors of skin, for God's sakes. It's pathetic.
But that's the thing now. Like, it worries me to even go into a big city, and with the way my role with my profession's changing, like, I've got to go into multiple big cities here in the Southeast that, it's like, am I going to be sitting at a restaurant and somebody's going to decide to stab me in the neck because I'm just the wrong white guy in the wrong place?
Sure. I was born in Chicago. It's a demilitarized zone at Harvey, Illinois. Guess what? I think about this all the time. I've been down here most of my life. If I would have grown up in Chicago, would I even be alive today? Would I even be here today? It's crazy to me, man. Wow.
But we really need to get off our phones, and like, everybody's guilty of it when we're out in public. The phones need to be in the pocket. We need to be carrying our everyday carry. Georgia is a constitutional carry state, so you don't need a license to carry as long as you're not a felon and you can legally own a gun. You need to have that thing on you.
Situational awareness, man.
Yeah, anytime, and head on a swivel so we don't have things like what happened to Charlie. I mean, I've seen these videos of people saying, look at this guy on the roof, and it's like, does nobody stop to say,
I know.
Hey, maybe we should just tell the cops?
Even in Butler, look what happened there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same story.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what I'd like to do, Tyler, since I got you? I would love to plan an episode here, coming up in the fall, where I just kind of, we cover like your channel, but I would love to just have a whole conversation on exactly what you're talking about. Like when you go into a restaurant, position yourself where you can see the entrances and the exits, and kind of just put that out there in the sphere about situational awareness and things that you should do and shouldn't do. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'll hit you with a good training exercise that I learned from a former Delta operator that trained Delta guys, and it's, he's like, do this whenever you park at Walmart, when you park at the grocery store, put the phone down, stop what you're doing. You're still in your vehicle park. Look around. Just look,
Right.
do a full 360 look around, and you wouldn't believe the amount of people that are paying attention to you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's like, I'm sitting here like, how many pretty young girls that, couldn't fight off a male attacker are jumping out of their car on their phone, not even looking where they're going.
That's
And
right.
it's like, do you even realize like these 10 guys have been watching you this entire time?
Yes. Yes. We know these things are happening. We know that they scope out like convenience stores, and they follow people back and forth to work, and they get their routines down so they can rob them at the gas pumps, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, man, I appreciate it. I've got 2 more calls I got to make, and because I'm running. I know everybody's sticking with me, but it's already an hour and 30. But Tyler, let's make this show happen. I want you to write up an outline, and let's do this together. Let's have a show about situational awareness.
Yeah. Just hit me up when a good time is for you, and we'll get together and make it happen.
That's wonderful, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All righty, man.
All right.
See ya.
Bye. Folks, if you don't know Tyler Martin, he runs the YouTube channel XXL Dude, and he's got some of the most outstanding content. It's what I should have been doing along with him is doing the original what we did years ago. But I urge you to go over to YouTube and follow XXL Dude, because he's a wonderful guy. He's been in this for a long time, and he is far smarter than most of us, because he already has accepted that it is what it is, and we're still trying to hold on here. So you guys go check him out. Wonderful, a close friend. So I'm going to call Ned, and I got one more call to make. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, as long as we're getting the calls.
Yes, sir.
Ned, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, my brother. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing well. If I'm assuming I'm live at the moment.
What's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind is that my response when I heard that Charlie was shot was anger. Then I found out he was, I heard what took place, and I was very angered. And it makes me, want to retaliate. Militarily, when you're ambushed, you attack the ambush point. And that's what I was thinking. But at the same time, imprecatory prayers like some of David's Psalms that he wrote, went through my head. And I went to a small group tonight, and it's one of the things that came out and that I thought was appropriate was, I don't know who's familiar with the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, but it's basically a senior demon counsel and a junior demon on how to corrupt a follower of Christ. Mm. And one of the things they do is they want to distract you and keep you from praying, among other things, because that's a horrible thing to do. For everything is inverted in Screw Tape Letters. Right. So that's the worst thing to do, is to encourage a believer to pray. Mm-hmm. And prayer is the thing that's going to get it solved. No political activism is going to fix it.
No, you're right.
So prayer first, and first is Erica and her children need prayer.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
And it's I'm not a good, I don't speak.
Well, the Democrats would love to say never let a good emergency go to waste, right? I believe that God, this is going to be glorified through God, and God will be able to use this as we always say, to wake up the believers, to wake up the non-believers, right? To wake up the people that continue to bury their face in a pillow and pretend like that everything is okay. You just got your wake-up call. This was war shots.
The other thing is a lot of responses have been very volatile, anger centered. And the question, I think I texted, but the question is, what would Jesus do?
Yes.
And from that is, what were his instructions? And it generally was pray. And the other thing was, besides that, he gave us a template on how to act and what we're supposed to act, and we are supposed to love our enemies, which is not my
hard to do.
Immediate. I'm not geared that way, and I think a lot of people that I've heard tonight also are not geared that way. But back to, what would Jesus do, and what template in Scripture has he given us on how to respond to evil?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I certainly appreciate that, Ned.
That's prayer first.
That's right. And that's the most important thing. So, well, thank you so much, Ned. You're a wonderful person, and I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, thank you, and I appreciate what y'all are doing.
All right, man. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Prayer without ceasing. Absolutely. All right, we got one more call to take, and then we're going to get off of here. So, go ahead and bring that one in.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
What can I do
How
for
about
you
you?
tonight? I'm okay. I'm a little disgruntled. Jesus does tell us to love and pray, and I'm ready to flip a table right now, but I'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Well, this is Ray.
this is Ray, my brother Ray. I love you, Ray.
Yeah, I'm calling on the shop phone because
Yes.
I've been watching your program on my personal phone, and it's
Gotcha.
about to die. But my wife come down here earlier. I'm in my shop working, and got a kind of a special order that got called in today, and I'm having to make something special, and it's really kind of good for me right now because I can kind of keep my mind off of things. But I got a TV down here in my shop and everything, and I'm watching the news and everything that was going on. Lisa Adams called me today. She was like, did you hear or did you see what's going on? I'm like, no, I'm kind of busy. You know how it is, there at work. And I'm like, no, I've been real busy, Lisa. And she just she just broke down.
Yes.
And was crying and was talking about Charlie being shot. And it was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to say this, but it was like I was shot too. Like there was a chunk of me missing, And
you could
man, I tell you,
feel it. Not the,
yeah,
I mean,
you could
not
feel it.
literally, but there was
Yeah.
that subconscious, just gut shattering feeling that was going through all of us. The feeling of disbelief, sudden anger. Yeah, absolutely.
And the wife, while I was down here, she's come down here several times. She's like, you need to stop watching the news. And I'm like, I'm not really watching it. I'm kind of listening to it while I'm working. But I said, I can't stop. I said, I'm just trying to find details on if they caught this guy or not. That's right now. That's the only thing that is on my mind when they catch this guy. And and so she went upstairs, and then she kind of beat around a little bit, and then she came back down here, and she's just been pacing back and forth, and she finally come down here, and I mean, she's just bawling her eyes out. She said, I don't understand, and why they would shoot and kill this young man. And I said, we as conservatives, we always put ourselves out there, especially if you're vocal about, even you, Roy, when you're doing your show, your podcast and everything, you're putting yourself out there, and you have got a target on your back. Tyler's got a target on his back. I've got a target on my back because, I speak about the Second Amendment issues. Yes. I've had death threats.
Yes.
And I've got proof to back that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had nasty letters sent to my house, But the thing of it is, I told my wife, I said, look, I'm not going to fear these people, right? If I get killed, you know, doing what I believe God has put me in the course to do, then I'm not gonna feel bad about it, and I'm not gonna second guess it. I feel strongly about, our Second Amendment rights and the right to life and a lot of our constitutional boundaries and everything that we have that's in our Constitution and all of our Bill of Rights and everything that's in there, and I'm very adamant about that. And I want to protect those things. And what I'm protecting it from is Satan and his demons. And, and it never gets any better. And my wife, she was like, a lot of people know that, I used to be in a militia. And she was always saying, why you want to go out there and be in the militia with them guys? And, and I was like, well, I'm preparing myself. This is where you can get with the group of people, and they can train you and you can train each other. You can lean upon each other and do these things, and learn, how to combat terror, because, some of the people that were actually in the militia were, ex-military, ex-police officers, things of that nature. So, I was getting some very good training in. And, of course, as all things happen, it's kind of like in the Republican Party, you got too many big heads in there that think, they're alpha dogs, and they want it their way, and then other people come in and think they can do it a better way. And that's why I think in the Republican Party we're so divided on that.
Yes.
And not in this country. It's our country is divided because Satan has taken full control of it.
That's right.
And he's doing everything he can to keep us apart.
That's right.
And we talk about prayer, and I'm a firm believer in prayer. But we don't need to be stagnant either, people. We need to get up off our rear ends and do God's work. And I've just seen such a falling away out of church. We go to People's Baptist Church, and we hardly have any members there at all. I mean, we probably got 15 people that go to church there now, and it used to be full and vibrant of just a lot of churchgoers. But Satan's really took hold, and he's doing everything he can to keep people out of church and from church, and thinking they don't need church, they don't need God, they don't need Jesus, And I got news for them. I got news for all of y'all. We had 2 people saved
I saw that
last Sunday, and just because our church has only got about 15 people in it doesn't mean that it's still not a soul winning church.
That's
because the neighborhood that it's located in, it's mostly a lot of people that are renting. So there's a lot of in and out people. And, we've knocked doors around the neighborhood and, just passed out flyers to come to church. And, I had a guy tell me if I didn't get off his porch, he'd shoot me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I mean, so, and I tell the congregation whenever I'm up there Sunday mornings, I tell them, I said, look, I know that there's a need for this church. There's a need for churches out there for people to go to. And what I wanted to call in tonight to you, Roy, was about, awakening, getting a good church awakening. And if you haven't been to church in a long time, make an effort to go Sunday, make an effort. And because I feel like, if you don't make an effort to go on a Sunday morning or a Sunday night or a Wednesday night, then you're really robbing yourself of a blessing. And if you want to know how to deal with grief and everything else, that altar that's up there, it's open, and you can come to it, and you can pray, and you can let your request be known to God right there. You don't have to come, to a church to do that. But the thing of it is, you will be surrounded by people that are like-minded like you.
You'll be surrounded by
that
the
know.
Spirit.
That's right. And that's the thing we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be there to help each other, through crisis and everything else. And, this is just a heartbreaking time. I don't know how anybody could do it without a good church to lean on, and that believes in God and does the things that Jesus wants us to do. My emotions ran very high whenever I found out, because I'm still mad. I'm heartbroken, but I'm still mad. And I'm reverting back to that old mindset that I used to have before I went back to church, and that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all.
Right.
And, because I was an evil man myself. And, I want to thank God and thank Jesus Christ for bringing me out of that, and, but I feel for people that don't have him, that don't have his power, with them. And, the people that struggle every single day, they're leaning upon themselves to fix things, and you're not going to fix it by yourself. This country will never, ever fix itself if we don't get back to God. If we don't get down on our hands and knees and pray and say, Lord Jesus, forgive this country, forgive us for what we've done, to each other, and forgive us for what we've done to America and everything else that, all the sins that we've committed. I mean, if we don't repent, we're not going to get out of this.
That's right.
And so I just wanted to call and encourage people to go find a church Sunday and go to it. And if y'all need any information about our church, just tag, or you can reach out, message me or whatever.
Absolutely.
We would love to have you. But, that's the main thing is find a church, get in church and start praying in church. Find like-minded people that are going to stand together, because that, this is a political assassination.
Yes.
That's what it's been deemed,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here to tell you, it's also a spiritual assassination.
Yes, it
that
is.
they don't want to say anything about,
Mm-hmm.
because every one of Charlie's beliefs is come out of the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
All of his beliefs are biblical, and you can call it politics if you want to, but I watch the man just about every night. I get such a kick out of him, just watching some of the excerpts and everything on Facebook, just how he handles himself and how he debates people, and it encourages me to do the same and be bold like he was. And
I didn't watch his show a lot. I've got so many other things I'm watching. I always would watch little clips and things, but one of the things that I went home this evening, I don't know if you saw it, because my youngest child called me and asked me if I had seen what was going on, and I said, yeah. And we talked for a minute. I said, I'm coming home, and we're going to sit down and talk. And she told me, I always think they think I'm just crazy, for doing what we do here. But she told me, she said that the whole school was upset about this. Everybody was watching it today, and that she had watched everything that Charlie Kirk had put out. And I was like, I didn't even know you knew who Charlie Kirk was. So that's a blessing to me, knowing that that at least I'm trying to leave an example to my kids, and that they're picking up on, they were watching Charlie Kirk. That to me is like praise to God that that it's getting through to them.
Absolutely.
So.
And then that's the thing about it, brother. We're going to have to continue on in this fight. We're going to have to lead by example.
Yes.
We're going to have to, it's faith over fear, as Lucretia Hughes always says, right? And, and we just gotta rely on each other, you know what I'm saying? And rely on God to guide us all. And we need to just be focusing on him and just asking for his guidance right now. I need it more than anybody right now, I promise you, because the old me wants to come out so bad. I mean, the old me is it's jumping through my skin. It's poking through. It's trying to get out. And I'm like, I'm a new creature in Christ. You need to stay down there.
That's right.
But it's so hard because of just knowing, what has happened, because, somebody who believes in everything that he believed in and was bold enough to get up and discuss topics and talk about things in a great fashion.
Younger generation, man.
Yes, but that's what they're after, brother. Yeah. That's what they're after.
That's right.
And if you look through the school system and how all that COVID hit and how, all the kids had masks on, but Stacey Abrams didn't.
That's right.
You remember that photo?
Oh, yeah. I remember that photo. Yes.
So,
and, and that's one of the reasons, Bray, that I decided to go ahead and do this tonight, was because normally they would want us to back down. They'd want us to just cower down and be sad about it. But you know what? We're not going to stop. I don't care. We're going to continue this moving forward. We're going to gather strength from these incidents, these tragedies that are happening, and we will not back down no matter what.
That's right. Amen to that, brother. We just got to stay strong, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for calling. I love you, my brother. I appreciate you so much.
I love you too, and just keep up the good work. And
you the same.
You know, if you need anything, you know where I am, and you know what phone number I got on.
Always. Hey, 24/7, man. I appreciate
Amen,
you.
brother.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Wow. Great conversations, great phone calls tonight, guys. I won't get to the comments because I think we're pushing 2 hours, and I certainly didn't mean to do that. But man, sometimes you just got to let it out. We're all together. We lean on each other. We're not the mental disorder of liberalism. We embrace our brothers and sisters, especially in times of need, and we come together and we take this horrible tragedy and we turn it into something good. So, gosh, so many good people on the comments tonight. Please go back in. I'll just a couple. Logan Frazier's here. Thank you for being a truly hate that my kids won't get to raise their kids in a world that Charlie Kirk was working to change. That's a beautiful statement, and we've got so much that we can reflect on because his message was solid, and it'll be the same message we need to continue for years to come. And Marianne Carroll, this is why we all need to fight for a Second Amendment. Absolutely. Logan said Jesus flipped the tables. Maybe it's time that we do the same. I'm in a table flipping mood. But Tyler Lee, good to see you. Lisa Adams, yes. Let's see. Mary Wright, good to see you tonight. I'm tired of being a Christian and turning the other cheek. And so I think that's where we're all at right now. And we have to be strong and we have to use our heads. But I think we're all tired of turning the other cheek. Holly said it best, tired of thinking that we can, Tyler said it as well, tired of thinking that we can talk sense into people that want to see us dead. Okay? Denise said it right there. You cannot coexist with people who want you dead. Exactly. Jennifer White, good to see you. Charlie Kirk used words of knowledge and Bible scripture to make positive change. The left uses violence again and again. We're calling it like it is. Absolutely. Carol Streeter, and I had the video pulled up. Don't forget how the Democrats in D.C. have encouraged violence, and something needs to be done to whomever yelled out at the Capitol when Speaker Johnson asked for a moment of prayer. Woo! I had that video pulled up too, and I know I'm keeping you guys. When Lauren Boebert asked for a moment of prayer, that was absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing of Congress. Shame on you people. I got the video pulled up right here. I'm not going to play it. Denise says the right wants to debate you, the left wants to kill you. Absolutely. So many good comments, guys. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I really do. The only reason I'm here is because of our community, our group. So special, and we have to continue to stand up, move forward through all this. It's just everybody pray hard tonight for our nation, just like Tyler said. Pray hard for our nation. Pray for our enemies. Don't ever stop praying. Anyway, I appreciate every single one of you. You all are awesome, and we'll continue to move forward. Be releasing a video tomorrow evening with Kelvin King, and the next evening with I can't even remember his name, Rick Hill. Yes. And we'll also be updating the camp out. We are doing the camp out. I am doubling the security at the camp out. And we are still moving forward with this, and we will make sure that everybody is safe and that we have a safe event. So you can mark my words that we will continue this on. And I'm out. You guys have a wonderful evening. I love each and every one of you. God bless you.
over.